Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Today, we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. Why, SCN, you ask? Because it's going to save us a lot of time, one, and two, as we get to working on the metric system, we're going to need to be able to multiply and divide by powers of 10. Thank you for asking, Dr. Peppers. Powers of 10 are like 10, 100, 1,000, and we continue going like that. Those are powers of 10. Those are powers of 10. Now, let me ask, why are you writing this down? Let me ask this question. Let's ask this question here, because I want to know what your teachers in the past have exactly told you. So, Alyssa, how have your teachers explained to you to do that problem?
How they've taught me is that if you multiply 47 by 10, you pretty much just multiply it by 1 and then add 0.
Okay? So, what many of you have been taught in the past is to just add a 0.
Yes.
Not entirely accurate. It works. It works if you have whole numbers.
They've been lying to us this whole time.
It works if you have whole numbers.
But what if we have
But what we're doing, let me ask this. Alyssa, in the number 47, what number's in the ones place?
7.
7. And that's where your decimal goes behind the ones place. What you're actually doing when you multiply something by 10 is you're moving the decimal to the right one place. And once it moves, it's no longer where it was. Like yesterday when I had to send that horrible child to the office, and I said, I'm moving you to the office. And when they moved to the office, they were there, not here. So my decimal point's no longer here, it's there. So if we take 8 and 46 hundredths, and we multiply that by 10. 8 and 46 hundredths, and we multiply that by 10. Brady.
The answer would be 84.6.
Good. 84 and 6/10. When I multiply, I move it to the right. So when you multiply, it goes to the right. When I multiply, it goes to the right. Now you've also done this problem in the past. And your teacher has told you to do what? Add 2 zeros. But much like the 10, much like when we multiplied by 10, what we're really doing is we're moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. 2 places to the right. Well, I don't have anything to move it behind. We'll add a couple zeros there. 1, 2. And this problem actually equals 7,100. Because I'm moving it 2 places to the right. So multiplying it by 10 moves my decimal point 1 place to the right. Multiplying it by 100 moves the decimal point 2 places to the right. And multiplying by 1,000 moves it 3 places to the right. Basically, you're moving it to the right the same number of zeros as there are. That is going to save you time. That's going to save mistakes because you don't just add zeros. Because if I just added zeros and made this 8.460, did I change the value? No. The value's the same. So adding a 0 to the back of it doesn't help me. Moving the decimal point. Because if I'm going to multiply something by 10, I need that number to get bigger. Here it doesn't get bigger if I just add a 0 to the end. I need it to, the product needs to be larger than the factor that I multiplied by 10. So let me put 2 up here, 3 up here, let you try them on your own, and then I'll call on people to help me. Let's take... I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm team shaking or not. Haven't quite decided. Matilda?
I have a question. What if the number doesn't have a decimal?
Every number has a decimal.
Yeah.
Because if it's got the ones place, like, let me ask you this. How much money is that? $7. How much money is this?
$7.
Since this is in the ones place, there's the decimal behind it. If the decimal's not written, it's always behind the ones place. To the right of the ones place. That was a good question, though. God bless you. So, on I shall call who? You're writing these down right now in your journal? Oh, you meant everybody. Not just them. Cray. Oh, because I lost a tooth earlier.
Why did you take it?
Because I got to take it to the dentist. And I didn't want to lose it. Yeah. I was flossing at lunch. Just popped right out. I know, right? Jacob J. 16 3/10 times 10 equals
163.
163.
Yay.
4 8/10 times 100. Isabella. Thumbs up. She gave me. She would like a minute, so we'll come back to her. 97 2/10 times 1,000. Andrew. 97,200.
That is correct.
And that is correct. We have to move the decimal point 3 places, so we have to add 2 zeros at the back. Go ahead, Isabella. How many times are we going to move the decimal point? Twice. To which direction? Okay, so I can't move it but once. So if I add a 0 there, it moves from there to there. So if it's there, what's the number? 480. 480. If you're multiplying by powers of 10, the numbers in the problem aren't going to change. You may add zeros to either the front or the back, but the numbers themselves are not going to change. So when I had somebody in my first class, when you did 12 times 10, and he said my answer was 10, no, the numbers 1 and 2 are going to be in it. There's actually 120. Some zeros may be added, but the numbers that are in the problem are going to stay in the product. Right? Right.
That's all correct.
So we just said multiply. The decimal point goes to the right. Now, let's see. Ari, if we're dividing, what do you think I do with the decimal point? To the left. Good. If I'm dividing, my decimal point moves to the left. I'm not going to change the numbers in it. I am just moving my decimal point. If you're dividing by 10, it goes 1 to the left. If you're dividing by 100, it goes 2 to the left. If you are dividing by 1,000, it goes 3 to the left. 10,000? Yes, good job.
100,000 million 800.
So let's look at a couple of these. Now I have, my first factor is 4. And that should be division, because I just said we were going to work on division, so why did I write multiplication? Cray, cray. And we're dividing 4 by 100. So should my product be less than or greater than 4? Less. If we're dividing it, we're going to make it smaller. Heaven, what number is in my first factor? What number's in the ones place? 4. So that means my decimal point is behind the 4, behind the ones place. So that's where my decimal point is. Now, Heaven, I said we have to move to the left when we divide. How many times to the left do I have to move it, Heaven? 2. Because there are 2 zeros. So if I move this twice, okay, Heaven, you with me here, right? If I move it once, it becomes there. But now what do I do, Heaven? I need to move it again. I just put a 0 here, and I can move it again. So 4 divided by 100 equals 4 hundredths. Liam?
I was about to say that.
Oh. Okay? All we're doing here is moving the decimal point. Multiply to the right, divide to the left. And we're going to practice some of these, so don't freak out if you're still a little confused.
Confuzzled.
I don't like corn. I prefer candies.
I like 98.
I'll do it. 863 divided by 10. Write it down.
Me too. I won't say anything.
Jonas, what is 863 divided by 10? 86 3/10. How did he get that? Well, he found the ones place since he didn't see the decimal point. The decimal point is behind the ones place, behind the 3. Dividing by 10 moves it to the left. And since it's 10, it moves it to the left one time. Let's take... Four and 29/100ths divided by 100. 4 and 29/100ths divided by 100. Oh, I'm going to call on someone. Don't you worry, Jonas. I will get someone called on. Shh. Did it quietly.
Ow.
I'm going to. Yeah, I'll get it in a minute. You can do it if you want. Alright. Alright. Please come here. Alright. Jonas, please tell me the answer to this division problem. The quotient, if you might. So where's the decimal point? Good. So it's going to be 0.0429. I had to add a 0 in front because I had to move it twice. So I had to put that 0 in front. Do you see how this can make your life a little bit easier? Because if I'm dividing, I don't know, 4 and 29/100ths divided by 100, I got to go the decimal point straight up. 100 doesn't go into 4. 100 doesn't go into 42. 100 does go into 429 4 times, and then 100. And then I have 329. So no, I'm sorry, this should be 400. And I should have 29. So 4/100ths, remainder 29, right? No, I can't have a remainder with decimals. And then I got to remember to put this. And then I got to remember to put this. And it's a lot. If all I have to remember is to move my decimal point either left or right, depending if I'm multiplying or dividing by a power of 10, that's much easier to remember. Now hopefully you've written this down. Multiply to the right, divide to the left. I don't know if you need to jot a little the same number of zeros as there are. We're going to practice some in a momentito. And then when I put them up there to practice, I'm going to team shake some people up.
Yay!
Now you're all excited.
Boom, shakalaka, peace out. God bless, love you. Do something kind today. Subscribe, sponsor me.